Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Albany, Oregon. Welcome. Today, I am going to show you how to make a really easy, this is a great card for beginners. And you don't have to use this paper. You can use whatever paper you want. It's just that the design of the card is pretty simple. The paper that I'm using today is the Autumn Toile. And I did just check online and it is available. You can find it in the mini catalog on page 41. So this is my second pack actually, and I have nothing left of the first pack. So if you haven't purchased it yet, I think that you would really like it. A lot of great papers in there. So since this is a beginner card, I am going to, if you'll allow me some grace, I'm going to show some of the basics for people that are just starting out in card making. It still shouldn't take very long because there's really not much to this card. So I have cut this. It's a top fold. You can do top fold or side fold. So this card base is actually 4¼ inches wide by 11 inches, scored at 5½ inches and folded there. So this is everything you're going to need for this card. And like I said, you can use whatever paper you want. You also don't really have to use these arch dies. You could use rectangles or circles or whatever shapes that you want. The dies are from the Everyday Arches, and it is current and it is available. So this is what you're going to need to make this card. You can either grab a screenshot of these measurements, or as always, I will have a PDF with the measurements and all of the supplies located below this video down in the description box. You can just click on the link and it will open the PDF. So let's scoot all this out of the way. And I think the first thing we'll do is I'll show you how to start a card base if you're not familiar with that. So I've got my Stampin' Up! Trimmer, and it's got 2 blades on it. The dark one is a cutting blade, and the lighter one is a scoring blade. It just makes a score mark in the cardstock for you to fold on, and it does not cut through the paper. It will cut through designer series paper if you push on it too hard. So what I'm going to do, I normally make more than one card when I make cards. So I would take this 8½ by 11 inch piece of crumb cake, and half of the 11, which is where we're going to score it, so it's going to fold here. Half of the 11 would be 5½ inches. So let's line this up at our 5½ inch mark over here. And we'll take our scoring blade, the light colored one, not the dark one, and we'll score that. You don't have to push too hard. And then we'll turn our paper and we'll line this up. Don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to line this edge up at 4¼ inches and cut that Let me set my trimmer aside. So now we've got two 4 1/4 by 11-inch card bases. And what you would do next is, I always, when you score it, it actually presses a line down in the top. And I'm going to call the top what I'm going to use. This is what I want to see. So on the back, there's kind of a little bump. And I'm going to actually fold the back. I'm going to fold that bump, line my edges up down here as best as I can. I'm going to take a bone folder, give that a press, and make a nice crease, and that's how you make your card base. So the other thing I want to show you is, if you're cutting a specific area out of a piece of designer series paper, like I wanted this tree with this buck deer, and here's the paper. So here's the little section that I want. I would take my die that I'm going to cut it out with, and this is actually, let me open this up again. I am using the 3rd from the largest and the 4th from the largest. The 4th from the largest die is the one that I'm cutting the designer series paper with. So I would take my die, lay it approximately where I think I'm going to want my little scene. And you can either take a tape measure and measure that, so you know that you would need to cut this at about 3 3/4 or 4 inches to be safe. So I would just cut a 4-inch strip, because there's 2 of them on here and I would make 2 cards. Or you can also just lay your die there, take a pencil, and just loosely draw around there. And then you could cut that little piece out with scissors, and then you could die cut it. Hope that makes sense. That's the best way I know of to use as much of your DSP as you can without throwing a bunch of it away. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to grab my chair. Hopefully my camera is in the right spot and recording. So this is going to go pretty fast, I think. I'm going to grab my card base, 4 1/4 by 11. I've already scored it. We're going to fold it, make sure that it's got a good crease. So we're going to take our designer series paper that's 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And this is soft suede, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And you can use whatever colors you want. If you look on the back of the designer series paper, it lists all the colors that are in the paper. This has Cajun Craze, Early Espresso, Gray Granite, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, and Berry Vanilla. But Crumb Cake and Soft Suede and Early Espresso are all kind of in the same tonal family. So they work really well on things like this. So let's take our piece of designer series paper, and we're going to cover up the cute pumpkin piece, which I also love. So we'll put some Tombow glue on the back of this. You can use whatever adhesive you like, Tombow glue is probably the easiest when you're just starting out because it does give you a little time to scooch things around if you need to. So we're going to adhere our piece of designer series paper to the soft suede piece. I'm just going to try to get all of the soft suede margins as equal as I can. And then let's put some glue on the back of the soft suede piece. And you probably don't need as much glue as you see me putting on here. I can't stop myself for some reason. So let's adhere this piece to our crumb cake card base. And we'll try to get the margins of the crumb cake as even as we can. And then let's grab our, so I've got my 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 designer series paper, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 piece of crumb cake, and I have already cut them out with the 3rd and 4th largest dies, the crumb cake being the largest. So that would be the number 3 die. This would be the number 4 die. So let's put some glue on the back of our designer series paper piece. There is a piece of green paper in this pack that has pheasants. I don't know if there's any other birds on it. It looks like all pheasants. And I want to make one of these cards with that little piece of paper. I just haven't checked. There's not really a green in there to do any kind of a background with, although this background would work good. But I want to check through my designer series papers and see if I have anything that is mossy meadow, old olive-ish that would look nice with that. So now that we've got these two pieces glued together, let's put some glue on the back of the crumb cake piece. And like I said, you can use whatever colors for these background layers that you want. Instead of crumb cake, that could have been soft suede, it could have been early espresso, it could have been gray granite. And one thing you want to make sure before you start gluing your front on is, does the card open properly? You don't want to glue the front on and have the card be upside down. So be mindful of that. So let's lay this piece on here and we'll try to get it as straight as we can. And this background paper is kind of nice because it's got some little diamondy things on it that are kind of in pretty straight lines. So that helps line that up a little bit. And then I have already taken for my soft suede scrap and my gray granite scrap, on my gray granite scrap, I have stamped in early espresso happy birthday, and that is from, I hope I didn't put the set away, and I might have. Let's see. That is from the Something Fancy set. And I think this is an older set. I'm pretty sure it's not available right now. But you can grab whatever sentiment you like And I did cut it out with the rectangle stitched framelit dies. It fits the smallest rectangle in this section perfectly. So you don't have to do any weird making it smaller or larger. And then here is just a piece of soft suede that I have made. I think it is an 1/16 of an inch larger. So let's take, than the sentiment piece. So let's take some glue and put it on the back of our sentiment. And we'll glue that to the soft suede piece. And then we'll put some glue on the back of the soft suede. And adhere that to the front of our card. Try to get it as straight as you can, even on both sides. That looks pretty good. And then I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch Very Vanilla. And I am going to put it on the inside of the card. The crumb cake card base is a light enough color that you could write in it, but I always like to put one of these pieces inside because it really makes the card sturdy. And that is Willow, my dog, snoring, if you're new here. Okay, so all we have left is we are going to add some jewels, dots, gems, sequins, whatever you want to pick out and call them. I went through my stash and I found these adhesive backed metallic gems that go nice with this. There's also the neutrals adhesive back sequins that go nice with these, and the brushed metallic adhesive back dots. So you can compare what you like better on the card, pick out what you want to use. I think I will use, I don't know if there's any. Let's see, I think I've got an open pack. I was going to say, I don't know if there's any little ones in there, but I've got this one that's open. So let me grab my scissors. And I am going to use, hard to tell what colors they are with the light on. I think these are kind of a goldy, bronzy color. So I don't normally put them off of the focal point like I'm doing, but I did it and I liked it, so I think it's okay. Usually I would put them on the designer series paper, but I think this comes out okay. Okay, so there's our sample. There's the one that we just made. See how easy that was? What do you think of that? If you're a seasoned card maker, you could whip out a bunch of these card designs in no time at all. So let me show you a few other ones that I made. This is from the same pack, and I used the pumpkin paper on it. I used crumb cake and gray granite for this one. And the thinking of you brings joy to my heart sentiment is from the new branching out set. It's got some great sentiments. And then this one is the same dark tree with the buck. And then I just used a different background paper. And instead of the soft suede, I have early espresso and gray granite. And I did use the Neutrals adhesive back sequins on this one. And these are kind of a gray, silvery gray. And I just thought they looked really nice with the gray granite on there. So, what do you think of this card? Do you have a favorite? I needed a masculine birthday card. My older brother is having a birthday next week, so I needed a card for him. That's where all of this started from. So let me know what you think about these. If you're going to try it, I would be happy to hear that as well. If you're getting anything out of my videos, please hit the like button, share my video with your friends and family. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It helps my channel grow. I would really appreciate it. I hope I didn't forget anything. Can't remember if I mentioned that I stamped all of the sentiments in early espresso. That'll all be in my PDF. So if I did forget anything, you should be able to find the answer. If not, you can leave me a comment and I will get back to you. So I really appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with me. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.